Strong humans, how's it going? Now, today I'm gonna have some things I want you to take into your rope flow practice that will bring a little bit more depth into what you do. And I'll be sharing that with you, but you know, a cool thing happened where we recently had Ido Portal on our podcast, The Power Project. And Ido is the guy when it comes to this whole movement space of health and fitness. He was kind of the guy to popularize it and start. And of course, people have been moving forever. Humans move. That's what we do. But focusing on helping people move better, Ido was the first guy to really do that. And it was really cool to have him on the show and to learn from him and spend some time with him. And actually, within our conversation, there's going to be some video of Ido showing Mark and myself a few things. And there was a drill that Ido had us doing. And funnily enough, this drill and concept is something that I have recorded for the Rope Flow Matrix course. If you don't know, there's a community called the Stronger Human, and in that community, there's a Rope Flow Matrix course. It's a rope flow course that I'm just going to be adding in things to forever. But Ido had us doing a drill, and in the videos I made for this part of the course, I called it same side stride and normal gait. Okay, so we talked about the spinal engine before. In the spinal engine, when you take a step, your left shoulder comes forward as your your right shoulder comes forward as your left hip comes forward, and when your left shoulder comes forward, your right hip comes forward. That's generally how we walk, right? That's also called contralateral gait, contralateral movement of the spine in relation to the body. Boom, boom. So Ido had us doing a drill where he would say ipsilateral, by the way. Ipsilateral means that when the left foot forward, the left shoulder goes forward. When the right foot forward goes forward, the right shoulder goes forward. So it would be someone who walks like this, which looks, actually that was contra, but this looks different, boom, 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 than this. This contralateral movement looks a little bit more natural because it is. So he had us doing a drill where he would say ipsi, we'd take a step forward, ipsi, contra, and we'd have to have that contralateral movement, and then he'd say ipsi again, and we'd have to, boom, have the same side. Now, when it comes to this and your personal practice of rope flow, what you can do is you can think of the different patterns that you do, and then you can ask yourself, how can I do this in an ipsilateral fashion? Ipsilateral means same side, same side, same side. And how can I do it in a contralateral fashion? So take this into all the movements that you may have already learned. This is the underhand race and chase, right? Now with this underhand race and chase, notice how I have this contralateral movement already. My left shoulder's forward, my right foot forward, right shoulder's forward, left foot forward. Well, how would I be able to switch this up so it would be ipsilateral? Well, if I bring this side, notice how my left shoulder's forward and my left shoulder's forward and my left hip is forward, and then my right shoulder's forward and my right hip's forward, right? So you can now take these movements and you can shift it so now you have a better understanding of that contralateral movement and that ipsilateral movement or ipsilateral movement, okay? Let's think of, I think a good movement to demonstrate this on is the underhand sneak. And you may have not learned the underhand sneak just yet. I'll show it to you in a second once this car passes by. Now, with the underhand sneak, boom, right? We're here, here. And I'll take a small step here. Notice this position. Right hip, left shoulder. This is contralateral movement, right? Boom. Contralateral movement. But if I wanted to do ipsilateral movement, right? Contralateral, ipsilateral. Now, when I take this step, my right shoulder's forward and my right foot's forward, and my left shoulder's forward and my left foot is forward, right? It adds a different kind of understanding of movement to what you're doing. And then I could switch it back to contralateral here. Contralateral, notice again, left shoulder forward, right foot, right shoulder forward, left foot. That's with the underhand sneak. You can do that with the overhand sneak. You can do that with all these different types of movements. Shift the gait. Ido actually mentioned something, and it was a cool little tidbit about apparently Japanese samurai. They would walk like that in a way. They walked in a different way because they wanted ways to make themselves distinct from the typical population. So instead of a contralateral gait, which would be normal, they typically keep their hands at their sides, and they'd have this ipsilateral gait, which is, it looks a little bit odd, right? But it's just interesting how, you know, there is a fluid, coordinated way to walk, but there are also many ways, many ways of learning how to move the body that might seem, right? And I'm walking in that way right now. It seems odd, and it is odd, but if you learn to do it fluidly, it doesn't look too bad. It looks like there's something different, but you can't necessarily tell, right? So this is another thing I want to mention in this video. When learning rope flow, what tends to happen, and this isn't a problem, but it's something that I would suggest, and it's also even the same thing when learning a martial art like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. One thing that I've learned from this practice and the practice of Jiu-Jitsu is that it's not always about learning new moves, although it's fun. So this is the thing, when you learn rope flow, you get your underhand race and chase down. Then you get the underhand matador down, right? Then you start to get underhand sneaks and overhand sneaks. And then, you get the dragon hug, right? You get these bowler movements, right? You learn to swing. You learn releases. You get the hang of all of these movements. But I think what can happen is we tend to lose sight about quality movement of those movements and even understanding those movements a bit deeper. Like what I was talking about with understanding contralateral movement and ipsilateral movement with the same underhand sneak. Taking that movement a little bit deeper and adding a different intent to that movement. And even taking a movement like that underhand sneak, right? And performing it in a few different ways. Okay, let me get my spine tall. Actually, let me face this direction when I do it. Let me get my spine tall. Let me rotate laterally when doing it. Okay. Let me pivot my feet when doing it. Let me bounce when doing it. There are so many flavors of movement to a single movement. And that's where this practice kind of almost is has a similarity in my mind to Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for 10 years now. And even at this point, I continue to learn so much whenever I go to class with my instructor Cassio, when I go to different schools. I continue to learn because even though one is a black belt, that doesn't mean that they have mastered Jiu-Jitsu. For some reason, there's this belief and this idea of like attaining mastery. And this is a totally aside, but I'm never gonna master Jiu-Jitsu. I'm never gonna master rope flow. It's not gonna happen. I just wanna make that clear. I'm aiming to attain mastery, but it's always gonna be out of reach. Why? Because there are always things to the practice that can be improved, even with the simplest movements. Even with this underhand race and chase, you understand how to do it, right? Let's do it this way. You understand how to do it, it's simple, okay? Okay, how about shifting weight from front to back? Not moving the spine, using the arms, using the spine. Hopping. Trying to hop silently so that my feet don't even make a sound. So how can I land and be silent with this movement? Right? There are so many flavors to movement and attributes that you can add to movement that it's never something you truly master, but something you continue trying to add things to. And of course, it's not bad to learn new movements. I don't want to encourage you guys not to learn new movements. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is learn new movements to add into your repertoire of what you can do, and then revisit old movements that you've mastered to see what can I do now with this movement. Let me give you an example. What I just did right there. This is an overhand throw that people typically learn, right? You could do this with two hands. You could do it with one hand. But the question is, okay, how can I do this movement and maybe incorporate pivoting of the hips, right? So, boom, that's the normal throw people do, right? Now there's a pivot, boom. Right, that was a very slight pivot. Shifting my hips where my hips are facing this way, my torso is still facing this way, and I'm still doing that throw, right? There's so many ways. I want you guys to think about that. There's so many ways to move your body with a movement. There's not just one way to do a movement. Even though it can look simple, you can add almost infinite levels of complexity to it. Just like what I was mentioning to you in the ipsilateral, right? This ipsilateral movement and contralateral movement. And taking that into how you're flowing with your rope currently. Oh, you didn't screw anything up. You're okay. So, with that being said, I hope this gives you some ideas of some things that you can now add into your rope flow practice. The podcast with Ido Portal, along with some of the movement work we did with Ido, is going to be coming out very soon. And it was really a cool opportunity to be able to spend a few hours with him and pick his brain on some things. You know, people spend lots of money to be able to do that with him, and I feel very blessed. And you know what? Like, even though Ido charges a lot of money, he's deserving of it, to be perfectly honest. When you've spent that much time learning about something so deeply and literally spending your life at it, you can charge whatever you want. So I'm appreciated. I hope you guys enjoy that episode when it comes out. The October-November challenge is currently going on in the Stronger Human community. We do movement challenges every 2 months, and community is free. You can go and you can join. And you can also get a hold of the Rope Flow Foundations course if you haven't started any rope flow. But the Rope Flow Foundations course is free. So go ahead and you can join in there. This is coming out before Black Friday, so there will be some Black Friday deals at the Stronger Human store, which will be pretty gnarly. So that'll be ready for you guys. And if you have any questions about this, comment down below and let me know. Why is Sam going so slow right now? Sam, come on. Come on. You're good. Just don't hit the camera. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Let me know if you have any questions about this, and let's keep it moving. All right, let's back up. Come on. So Sam wanted you guys to see the sweatsuit thing that she made. She made this, by the way, and she made herself a whole outfit.
Give him a spin.
But yeah, where's my sweatshirt? When's it gonna be here?
Did you order a sweatshirt?
I don't think I did. Weren't you supposed to order me a sweatshirt?
No, I said if you want me to make you a sweatshirt, order it.
Okay, I'll order it. I'll order the sweatshirt.
And then we're gonna match.
Yeah.
And if you want little geodes on your pants, order a pair of pants.
Yeah,
I
actually,
don't
you
know
have
if I
the.
enough dye for that.
Okay, but you do have the other pair of pants, right? Yeah,
I do.
Yeah. We can dye those, right?
Yeah, we can dye those.
Okay.
If I have enough dye.
I have that Amazon. I have the Amazon sweatpants coming in today. So if those look better, then we can use those. But if they don't look as good, let's just use the other ones because I feel like they won't look as good. All right. I love you too. Of course.